This all stems from his executive order that would restrict what is known as birthright citizenship, the notion that if a baby is born in the U.S., he or she becomes automatically a citizen. And 3 federal trial judges have blocked that initiative of the president, and they blocked it nationwide. And so what the Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to do is say, hey, those lower court injunctions should only apply to the litigants in the case, not the rest of the country. And that would effectively let this executive order go into effect for most of the country.
Hey, Greg, what's the legal standing of that argument?
So the Supreme Court has never really dealt with this in any sort of broad way directly. The administrations of both parties have been complaining about nationwide injunctions. They've become much, much more common in recent years. The Trump administration says they're now at an epidemic, and of course that's stemming from the fact that there are so many Trump initiatives, so many lawsuits, and so many judges who have said that what he is doing is illegal. So it is an issue that folks have been thinking about a lot. But this may be the first time the court really deals with it head on.
You know, I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, well, it's an issue that's illegal, right? So there's, or is it illegal, right? There's that issue. And then there's also kind of the issue of, if a lower court judge makes a ruling, does it really have the right to apply it across the country? Like, help me kind of square that. You know the law much better than I do, but I'm trying to understand, is it a case that maybe this has to just be tried in every individual case? Is that kind of what the law would say?
Well, that's kind of what the Trump administration says the law would say. Now, It's not an absolute. You can do things like have a class action, but in the cases we're talking about, there isn't a class, or at least there isn't a class yet. It is just individuals who go to court saying, this is going to affect me, but it's also going to affect all these other people. And it would be really inefficient to have every, in this case, every set of parents who have a child who is born, to have to go to court and get a court order to say, yes, my child is an American. And that's even if, and of course this is disputed, but even if we were to all agree that the Trump administration executive order is unconstitutional, then somebody would have to go to court in every case.
So let's say that the president prevails here and the Supreme Court does rule in his favor. Are there implications beyond just birthright citizenship in this case? Could this decision be looked to for other executive orders, or would it have other implications?
Yeah, it absolutely could. This is coming up over and over again. There are as many as 39 nationwide injunctions that have been put in place since the start of the Trump administration. It's coming up in the context of government funding. It's coming up in the context of the president's transgender military ban. Really, almost every issue we've been talking about over these past, every legal issue we've been talking about over the past several months, this issue is cropping up. And there are also some connected issues to it. It could end up being complicated. There are questions about the states that are suing, whether they can, get the executive order blocked in their states. So it could be messy, but very possibly it could affect a wide range of cases.
Just 30 seconds left here, Greg. So a win by the Trump administration, by the president, would greaten his power even more.
Absolutely, it would. And of course, we're just talking temporarily here because the court is not deciding whether this executive order is unconstitutional. The question is really what happens until the court takes up that question, and it would indeed give the president a lot more power to put his policies in place, at least temporarily.
I lied. So if the Supreme Court says we're not going to deal with it, what happens then, just quickly?
I'm sorry, if the Supreme Court says we're not going to deal with
this issue, if it goes, will we assume it's going to go to them, or it is before them?
I would be very surprised if birthright citizenship doesn't eventually get to the Supreme Court. How quickly is a matter of speculation.